The rain hammered the tin roof of our trailer like God's own judgment. Each drop of accusation I couldn't dodge anymore. My mother's voice sliced through the downpour, sharper than any knife. "You're not my son." Not after this abomination. I stood there in the dim kitchen light, my high school diploma still clutched in my trembling hand. The taste of Anthony's kiss from 2 hours ago burning on my lips like forbidden fire. She'd found the note. Just a stupid scrap of paper I'd scribbled in a moment of teenage recklessness. "Meet me tonight. Hey, can't stop thinking about you." Anthony, my best friend since 3rd grade. The boy who'd shared his peanut butter sandwiches when mine ran out. Who'd held my hand under the bleachers during football games we both hated. We'd crossed that line last summer, fumbling and fierce in the back of his dad's old Chevy, and it had felt like coming home. But now, with her eyes blazing like twin infernos, I realized home was the first casualty. I bolted into the storm without a coat, the gravel crunching under my sneakers as I ran toward the only sanctuary I knew, Anthony's window. His face appeared in the glow of his desk lamp, pale and wide-eyed, and he yanked me inside just as thunder cracked the sky open. "James," he whispered, pulling me close, his heart pounding against mine. What happened? I couldn't speak. I just buried my face in his shoulder and let the sobs come, the world I'd known dissolving in the salt of my tears. That night marked the end of everything familiar. Mom locked the door behind me the next morning, her Bible thumping on the windowsill like a gavel. "Go to hell if that's what you want, but don't come back dragging your sin here." Dad just stared at his coffee mug, silent as the grave, his inaction a deeper cut than her words. We were in rural Ohio, the kind of Bible Belt town where family values meant towing the line or getting tarred and feathered. At 18, fresh out of high school, I had nothing but a duffel bag, $50 from my summer job at the mill, and Anthony's hand in mine as we hitchhiked west. California called to us like a siren song. San Francisco, the city of rainbows and second chances. We scraped by on odd jobs, me washing dishes in diners, Anthony bussing tables at a queer bar in the Castro. Nights were our salvation, tangled in the sheets of a one-room walk-up, whispering dreams of a life where love wasn't a crime. Anthony was my anchor, with his easy laugh and those hazel eyes that crinkled like autumn leaves. He was out and proud from the start, raised by a single mom who'd marched in the first Pride parades. Me? I've been hiding since I realized boys made my pulse race. Not girls. But with him, I bloomed. We built something real, brick by brick. By 20, we'd pooled our tips for a tiny studio in the Mission District, walls plastered with posters of Harvey Milk and bandanas from street fairs. Anthony started community college, studying graphic design, while I landed a gig as a barista at a coffee shop catering to the tech crowd. Mornings, I'd brew his espresso just how he liked, double shot, splash of almond milk, and he'd kiss my temple, murmuring, "You're my forever." James. It was cheesy, straight out of some rom-com, but in the grind of survival, it was gospel. Then the first crack appeared. A letter from home, forwarded by a sympathetic cousin. Mom was sick, stage 3 breast cancer. The words blurred as I read them, guilt twisting like barbed wire in my gut. "She asks about you," the cousin wrote. Says she's sorry. In her way, Anthony found me on the fire escape. Chain-smoking Camels I swore I'd quit. "You gotta go back," he said, his voice steady but his fingers laced tight through mine. Family's family. I flew coach to Cleveland on a red eye, heart hammering like a war drum. The hospitals smelled of bleach and regret, and there she was, frail under the fluorescent lights. Her once iron hair, now a graying halo. "James," she rasped, eyes searching mine like I was a stranger. I wanted to rage, to scream about the nights I'd cried myself sick, but all that came out was, Why? Mom? Why'd you throw me away? She wept then, ugly and raw, clutching my hand like a lifeline. I was scared. The church. Your father. They said it was the devil in you. But I see now. You're my boy. Always. It was a bandage on a bullet wound. But in that sterile room, with beeps echoing our fractured bond, I forgave her. Or tried to. Dad hovered in the doorway, mumbling apologies, his calluses rough against my shoulder in a hug that felt like absolution. I stayed 2 weeks, nursing her through chemo, reading psalms she no longer believed. Anthony texted every hour, hearts, memes, miss your smile. When I returned, tan from Ohio summers and lighter in my chest, he greeted me at the airport with a bouquet of wildflowers and a ring. Fake. From a thrift store, but the promise was diamond solid. Marry me, he asked, dropping to one knee in the baggage claim chaos. Laughter bubbled up, mingled with tears. In a heartbeat, but forgiveness has a shadow. Mom rallied, enough to visit that Christmas. We flew her out, Anthony and I bunking on the couch to give her the bed. She brought her Bible, of course, and I'd our framed photo from Pride with lips pursed like lemons. Dinner was tense, turkey drying under her gaze, Anthony's jokes landing flat. He's a good man, she said finally, over pie. But sin is sin. Anthony excused himself, and I snapped. He's not sin. He's my life. She left the next day, a check for $5,000 in my coat pocket, for your future, and a note. Don't let this destroy you like it did me. What future? The check bought us breathing room, a deposit on a 1-bedroom in No Valley, with a bay window for basil pots and dreams. Anthony's designs started selling freelance. I got promoted to shift lead. We adopted a mutt named Scout from the shelter, his tail wagging like a metronome of joy. Life wasn't perfect, but it was ours, rainbow flags in the window, brunches with friends who'd become family, drag queens with hearts of gold, activists plotting against Prop 8 reruns. The betrayal came quiet, like fog rolling in off the bay. It started with Anthony's late nights at the studio. I'd wake to cold sheets, his side rumpled but empty. Client deadlines, he'd say, pecking my cheek with coffee breath. I trusted him, hell. I rebuilt my world on that trust. But doubt is a weed, and it sprouted when I found the texts. Not on his phone, I'm not that guy, but on his laptop, open in the kitchen while he showered. Hey, last night was amazing. When can we do it again? M for Marcus, the graphic designer from his co-op space. The one with the sleeve tattoos and easy charm who'd flirted shamelessly at our engagement party. My stomach plummeted, the room spinning like a bad trip. I scrolled, heart in my throat, meetups at motels. I love US that weren't mine. 6 months. 6 goddamn months of lies. While I planned our wedding, picked out rings from Etsy. When he emerged, towel slung low, I thrust the laptop at him. Explain. His face crumpled, color draining like milk down a drain. James! It's not. I got scared. The wedding. The commitment. After what your mom said, I thought maybe we were cursed. Cursed? The word ignited something feral in me. You think my family's poison? Or is it just easier to fuck around than face us? He begged, on his knees in our kitchen, snot-nosed and broken. I love you. It was a mistake. Please, Scout whined from the corner, sensing the fracture. I wanted to believe him, to glue the shards back, but the hurt was a living thing, gnawing my insides. That night, I slept on the couch, staring at the ceiling cracks like fault lines in my soul. By dawn, I'd packed a bag. I need space, I said, voice hollow, to figure out if love's enough when trust is ash. The next months were a blur of survival 2.0. I crashed with our friend Lena. a tattoo artist with a pullout in her garage, her endless supply of IPAs dulling the edges. Work blurred into numbness, steaming lattes for hipsters who complained about basic foam. Anthony texted apologies like scripture, voicemails cracking with pleas. I listened once, his voice a ghost. I built this life for us. James, don't let my stupidity tear it down. But the betrayal echoed louder, a drumbeat of doubt. Mom called from Ohio, her voice stronger now. Remission a fragile gift. Come home, son. Let him go. Home. The word tasted bitter, laced with old wounds. But in weakness, I booked the flight, landing in Cleveland snow that muffled the world's roar. Dad picked me up, his truck cab thick with unspoken grief. We missed you, he grunted, and for the first time, I saw the lines etched by his own regrets, silence as complicity. Mom hugged me fierce in the doorway, her arms a time machine to boyhood scrapes and bedtime stories. Over weak tea, she confessed, I had a brother. You know, Uncle Ray. He was like you. Loved a man in the 70s. Family disowned him. I was 10 when he jumped from that bridge. That's why I pushed so hard. To save you. The revelation hit like a freight train. My queerness, not a solo sin, but an echo of her trauma. Tears streamed, hers and mine, mingling in the steam. I was wrong, she whispered. Love's not the enemy. Fear is. I stayed a month, helping with the farm chores Dad never quit. Evenings filled with her stories, Ray's laugh like thunder, his records spinning Motown in secret. It mended something jagged in me, this shared scar. But Ohio's flat horizons closed in, a cage of cornfields and conservatism. Anthony's emails piled up, each one a hook in my resolve. Photos of Scout with a miss you both caption. Sketches of our dream house with a note. Still building. One night, storm raging like that long ago downpour. I called him. I'm coming back. His silence stretched, then shattered with a sob. I thought I'd lost you forever. The flight west was redemption's runway, landing me in his arms at SFO. Rain-slicked and real. We didn't rush to forgive. Therapy became our ritual. A queer counselor in the hate unpacking the lies. Betrayal's a teacher, she said. What does it teach you? For me, resilience. For him, the cost of fear. We rescheduled the wedding for spring. Small and fierce. Lena officiating on Baker Beach. Waves crashing like applause. Mom flew out. Dad too. Her hand trembling as she pinned a corsage on Anthony's lapel. Welcome to the family, she said, voice thick, and when he hugged her, I saw the bridge we'd all crossed, frail but standing. But life doesn't tie bows neat. 6 months post-vows, Anthony's cough started, a dry hack that lingered through summer barbecues. Doctors poked and prodded, scans whirring like omens. The diagnosis landed like a bomb. Lymphoma. Aggressive. Stage 2. Treatable, they said, but the word if hung heavy. Chemo loomed, a specter stealing his appetite, his hair falling in clumps we swept away like autumn leaves. I became his rock, shaving his head with steady hands, brewing ginger tea for nausea, holding him through nights when pain clawed like a beast. Mom drove up from Ohio unannounced, her suitcase packed with Tupperware of chicken soup and a quilt from Ray's old room. Families fight cancer together, she declared, bunking on our couch, her prayers now laced with pleas for Anthony, not against him. Dad followed, awkward but earnest, fixing the leaky faucet while muttering, tough kid. That one, the high point came mid-treatment, a scan showing shrinkage. We celebrated on that San Francisco beach, the one from our first real date, sunset painting the Golden Gate in fire. Anthony, bald and beaming, slipped his hand in mine. "We built this," he said, voice raspy but sure. Stronger than blood. Mom watched from a blanket, tears carving tracks, her arm around Dad. For the first time, I saw it. Not the family I'd lost, but the one we'd forged in fire, tempered by storms. Remission held, tentative as dawn. Anthony's designs exploded, a queer-owned brand sponsoring pride floats. I opened a coffee cart at the farmer's market. Being there, love that. Our inside joke etched on the sign. Mom visits quarterly now, her Bible gathering dust beside our wedding album. She even danced at last Pride, tentative steps with Dad, who grumbles but grins. Looking back, that rain-soaked expulsion was the seed. Condemned. Yes, but from those ashes, we rose. Not perfect, scarred and stumbling, but unbreakable. Anthony sleeps beside me now, Scout at our feet, the city lights winking like promises kept. Love isn't absence of pain, it's the choice to build through it. And ours, it's a fortress, walls woven from forgiveness, fierce and forever. The irony wasn't lost on me as I stared at the ultrasound wand gliding over Anthony's swollen belly. No, wait, that wasn't right. Scratch that. Our story's triumphs were quieter, more human. After the cancer scare, we decided on fostering kids like me once was, adrift in a system that chewed up dreams. The call came on a Tuesday, twin boys, 3 years old. Brothers. You in, we were. Elijah and Micah arrived with duffels stuffed with 2 small clothes and eyes wide as saucers. Eli, the bolder one, clutched a ratty stuffed tiger. Micah hid behind him, thumb a mouth. Their file with a litany of loss. Bio mom lost to opioids. Foster hops like a bad game of tag. We hit the jackpot, Anthony whispered that night. As we tucked them into the bunk beds we'd assembled with YouTube tutorials and swear words. Parenting queers wasn't for the faint. Playdates in the park drew stares from Karens with strollers. Their whispers like sandpaper on my skin. 2 dads? What's that teach him? One hissed at a picnic. Anthony, ever the peacemaker, flashed his dimples. It teaches love comes in all packages. But inside, it festered, the old wound of judgment. Now aimed at our boys. Mom flew out for Thanksgiving. Her suitcase heavier with grandkid gear, puzzles, overalls monogrammed JNA. She scooped Eli on her hip, cooing Ohio lullabies, while Dad taught Micah to toss a frisbee in the backyard. His gruff good arm, kid, melting the ice between them. Dinner was chaos, gravy spills. Eli's tiger commandeering the turkey platter, but her toast cut through to families remade. Not by blood, but by heart. Anthony squeezed my knee under the table, his eyes shining. It was the closest we'd come to whole. Winter brought the storm. A social worker's email, bio mom, clean now, petitioning for return. Reunification's the goal, the letter droned. Legalese burying the bomb. Anthony paced our kitchen, fists clenched. They're ours. We've got the nursery rhymes down. The bedtime battle's won. I pulled him close, his stubble rough against my cheek. We'll fight. But fair, kids aren't trophies. Court dates loomed like thunderheads. We hired a lawyer, a fierce lesbian from the Castro with tattoos of the scales of justice. Hearings in family court were a circus, bio mom's teary testimony. Her sponsor vouching for sobriety. Our turn. Anthony's portfolio of scraped knees and school projects. My logs of doctor's visits and park picnics. These boys thrive here, I pleaded, voice cracking. The judge, a silver-haired woman with kind eyes, nodded. Adjourned for home study. The wait was hell. Eli started wetting the bed. Nightmares of going away, pulling screams from his sleep. We'd rock him in tandem. Anthony humming folk tunes. Me spinning tales of superheroes who chose their families. Micah drew pictures, stick figures with two tall daddies. Rainbows arching overhead. One night, post-meltdown, Eli crawled into our bed. Tiger in tow. You won't let Mommy take us. Right. My throat closed. Never. Buddy. You're stuck with us. The home study came on a crisp December morning. The worker, a no-nonsense Latina named Rosa, toured our place. Bunk beds with glow stars. Fridge stocked with Dino nuggets. Walls alive with finger paints. She grilled us on discipline, timeouts, not spankings, and queerness. How do you handle bias? Anthony met her gaze with truth. We show them love's a spectrum, not a switch. She scribbled notes, her pen scratching like Judgment Day. Then the twist, the one that nearly broke us. Rosa pulled me aside in the living room. Eli and Micah are napping upstairs. Your husband's clean? Her tone shifted, probing. I frowned. Anthony? Spotless. What? She hesitated, then slid a folder across the coffee table. Inside, a police report from 2 years back. Anthony, busted for shoplifting art supplies during a freelance dry spell. Misdemeanor, expunged, but they're in black and white. He didn't disclose, she said softly. Could derail everything. Betrayal's echo. Round 2. I confronted him that evening. Folder slapping the counter like an accusation. He said it was handled. Nothing to worry about. His face fell, guilt carving new lines. It was juvenile stuff. James. Before we met. I thought with the cancer, the wedding, I didn't want to burden you. Burden. The word ignited old fires. We're a team, or we're not. You hid this. Like the Marcus thing. He crumbled. Apologies tumbling like dominoes. I was ashamed. Thought it'd vanish. We argued till dawn. Voices hushed for the boys. Scout pacing anxiously. Therapy again. Our counselor's office a confessional. Secrets are thieves, she warned. Steal trust one coin at a time. Anthony owned it. Tear-streaked vows to transparency. I forgave, grudgingly. The scar tissue thicker now. Christmas Eve, decision day. Rosa called as snow dusted the bay. Rare magic in San Francisco. Approved. Permanent guardianship. Pending adoption. Joy exploded. Anthony hooped, scooping the boys into a whirlwind hug. I kissed Mom on the cheek, her Bible forgotten in the glee. Dad cracked a rare joke. Guess I'm a grandpa to heathens now. We feasted on tamales from Lena's pop-up. Toast to futures unbroken. But the bio mom appealed. A last gasp from across the state. Mediation in a sterile conference room. Her, gaunt but glowing, flanked by a lawyer in cheap polyester. I want my babies back, she wept. Our boys played in the lobby, oblivious Legos toppling empires. Anthony's hand trembled in mine. They're happy, I said, voice steel. With us, the judge ruled in spring. Cherry blossoms blooming outside the courthouse. Best interest of the children remains with guardians. Bio mom sobbed, but signed the papers. A finality laced with grace. Take care of my hearts, she whispered to us. We nodded, throats tight. Adoption day was circus sweet, the boys in tiny suits. Cake smeared on chins. Mom snapping photos like a pro. Grandma's boys, she beamed. Elijah giggling at the title. Anthony and I exchanged rings anew. Simple bands engraved chosen. That night, as fireworks popped for some forgotten holiday. We lay in bed, boys snoring softly nearby. We did it, he murmured, fingers tracing my palm. Built our fortress, yet shadows linger. Eli's therapy for attachment scars. Micah's stutter under stress. Mom's cancer checkups. Dad's quiet letters about farm woes. Anthony's freelance dips. My cart's slow seasons. But we face them flanked. Queer dads in a city of misfits. Family a verb, not a noun. One evening, post-bedtime, Anthony pulls me to the balcony. City hum below. Remember that first rain? He asks. Chin on my shoulder. I do the expulsion, the hitchhike, the kiss in his window. Yeah, best storm ever. We laugh. Soft and shared. The Golden Gate winking approval. Condemned once, but reborn. Our family? Unshakable. Summer hit like a heat wave of revelations. Eli's kindergarten orientation loomed. A rite laced with nerves. We prepped him with flashcards, ABCs mixed with my daddy's love me, but the real test came on the playground. A classmate's mom, all highlights and judgment, cornered me by the swings. Two dads? Kids need a mom. Her words slithered. Venom and honey. Anthony, overhearing, stepped up smooth. They've got two dads who fight like hell for him. What's your superpower? She flushed, retreating, but the barb stuck, festering in quiet moments. We doubled down on visibility. Story hours at the library with books like Heather Has Two Mommies. Park picnics, waving trans flags for allies. Mom joined via Zoom. Her Ohio twang coaching Eli on standing tall. Like Uncle Ray, she'd started a support group back home. PFLAG chapter. Ironic twist on her preacher past. Saving others from my mistakes, she'd say, pride edging her voice. Then the call that upended it all. Dad. Voice gravelly over crackly line. Heart attack. Son. Come quick. Anthony booked flights. Packed the boys' superhero backpacks. Ohio in July was a steam bath. Cicadas droning dirges. Dad lay pale in the ICU. Tubes snaking like accusations. Didn't listen to the doc, he muttered when he woke, gripping my hand. Mom hovered. Her vigil a mirror of Anthony's chemo watches, irony's cruel poetry. The boys charmed the nurses. Micah's stutter fading in their giggles. Papa Jim's daddy, Eli announced, climbing the bed rails. Dad's eyes softened, a chuckle rumbling. Call me Gramps. Kid, we stayed 2 weeks. Rotating shifts. Anthony sketching cartoons to distract the little ones. One night, post-midnight, Dad pulled me aside in the hospital garden. Fireflies winking like secrets. I failed you. James. Stood by while we broke you. His confession hung heavy. Years late but honest. I swallowed the lump. You're here now. That's the fix. He rallied. Discharged to home with a ticker monitor and Mom's Hawkeye. Before we left, he pressed a key into my palm. Old farm truck. Rusted but running. For when you visit. Bring the grandkids. Anthony drove it first. Boys whooping from the flatbed. Wind whipping Ohio dust into joy. Back in the bay. Normalcy fractured again. Anthony's ex, Marcus, resurfaced, not as lover, but ghost. A design conference in L.A. Innocent pitch, but the invite included networking drinks. I tensed, old scars itching. Go, I said, forcing calm. But text. A lot. He did selfies with bland panels, thumbs ups from hotel lobbies. Still, doubt whispered. A serpent in Eden. The night he returned. Airport pickup turned interrogation. See him? I asked. Too sharp. Anthony sighed, bag thumping the trunk. James. It's water under. Trust me, but trust is fragile china. And mine chipped further when I found the business card in his wallet. Marcus's, scribbled call me, old-time sake. Harmless? Maybe. Might get screamed otherwise. We fought in the car. Boys asleep in back. Radio static underscoring barbs. You're paranoid, he accused. From your mom. The cancer, it's armor. Not us. I fired back, and you're reckless. Hiding thefts. Flirting with fire. Words escalated. Ugly and raw. Till I pulled over on the 101. Tires screeching. I can't do this if every shadow's a threat. He reached, but I flinched. Silence stretched, broken only by Eli's sleepy daddy. Home was a minefield. Therapy ramped up. Sessions dissecting jealousy like surgeons. Your mother's rejection wired you for loss, the counselor noted. Anthony admitted, Marcus was escape. Once. Now, regret. We vowed recommitment. Date nights sans phones. A trust jar for notes of gratitude. It worked. Slowly, a hike in Muir Woods. Hands linked under redwoods ancient as grudges. Grinner, breakfast dinner, with pancakes shaped like hearts. Fall brought harvest. Eli's school play. Him as a tree in the giving tree. Branches waving fierce. Micah started speech therapy. Words tumbling freer. Mom and Dad road-tripped west for it. RV rumbling into our driveway like a prodigal. Dad grilled burgers in the yard. Stories flowing. His own youth. A crush on the mill foreman buried deep. Hit it better than you. Son. But it ate me. Vulnerability from the strong. Silent type gold. Post-play. Backyard fire pit crackled. Esmore sticky on chins. Mom raised her mug to secrets unearthed. Anthony clinked. Eyes on mine. And love's reclaimed. Later. Boys Abed. We slipped to the roof. City sprawl below. Remember the note? He asked. Head on my chest. That scrap that started it all. I laughed. Low. Blamed for everything good. His kiss was seal. Soft and sure. But winter whispered warnings. Anthony's cough returned, faint, dismissed as allergies. Doc says fine, he insisted, but I pushed for scans. Memories of lymphoma's sneak attack. Results clean, relief flooding. Yet a shadow, my own checkup. Routine, unearthed a polyp benign, but the biopsy wait was torture. Your turn to be scared, I joked to him, but fear gripped like vice. Through it, family knit tighter. Dad FaceTime farm updates. Calves named after the boys. Mom sent care packages. Ohio Buckeyes. Queer lit for story time. Lena tattooed our anniversary ink. Interlocked gears. Built to last. The boys thrived. Eli's report card glowing. Micah reciting poems sans stutter. One blizzard night. San Francisco's rare whiteout. We piled under quilts. Hot cocoa steaming. Eli piped up. Why do we have two daddies? Anthony fielded smooth. 'Cause love's big enough for extras. Micah nodded sage. And Grandma prays for us. Mom, visiting, chuckled from her armchair. Damn right. The real high tide crashed New Year's. A letter from Bio Mom's lawyer. Full adoption papers. Her blessing irrevocable. They deserve your stability, it read. Tears flowed. Champagne popped. We signed in the dawn light. Boys' names forever ours. James Anthony Thompson Harris. Hyphenated, our compromise. Yet, as resolutions rang citywide, Anthony confessed over confetti. I saw Marcus. Coffee. Closure. Told him we're done, for good. Rage flared. Then ebbed. Why now? He met my eyes. To bury it. For us. I nodded. Slow. No more ghosts. We sealed it with a vow. Raw and renewed. Spring bloomed defiant. Eli's birthday bash. Piñata bursting candy rain. Cousin from Mom's side. Distant aunt thawing to our lifestyle. Dad barbecued. Apron smeared. Toasting to the family that chose back. Anthony and I danced slow to Springsteen. Boys giggling at our old people moves. In quiet after, balcony perch, his hand in mine. From condemned to this, he murmured. I squeezed. Stronger, every scar. The bridge glowed. Eternal. Our story? Mid-chapter. But epic. Love's labor. Unending. Summer's swelter gave way to autumn's amber. But our calm cracked wide. Eli's school bully emerged, a towhead terror named Tyler. Whispers of fag dads twisting recess into war. Eli came home bruised, lip split. Tiger clutched like armor. He said, "We're not real." He sobbed. Into my shirt. Anthony paced, fury etching his face. "We'll talk to the principal." We did, storming the office. United front. Principal Klein, a weasel in khakis. Hemmed, boys will be boys. Sensitivity trainings in the works. Anthony leaned in. This is hate, not horsing. Or we escalate, school board. News. Her eyes widened, promises flowed. But the damage lingered. Eli's spark dimmed. Playdates canceled. Mom arrived like cavalry. Her flight bumped for the crisis. "No child of mine gets bullied silent," she declared, channeling Ray's ghost. She volunteered in the classroom. Bible swap for and tango makes three. Dad followed. Carpools in his borrowed truck. Gruff pep talks, sticks and stones. Kid, but words? UOM. Tyler's dad got a call from the board. Fallout swift, apology note. Counseling mandated. Through it, Anthony and I leaned hard. Date night swapped for family therapy. Games nights rebuilding Eli's confidence. Micah, empathetic sprite, drew super family shields for us all. One evening, post-dinner wrestle, Eli piped, "I love my daddy's best." Anthony teared up, hugging fierce. Ditto. Champ. The deeper quake hit November. My promotion at the coffee empire. Manager. Benefits bump, but relocation clause to Seattle. Tech hubs exploding, the email gushed. Anthony stared at the offer over Thai takeout. "We can't uproot the boys. Roots here run deep." I nodded. Torn. Dream job, but you my North Star. We crunched numbers. Counteroffer denied. So I walked. Family first, I said. Resumed dusting off for local gigs. His freelance surged then. Campaign for a queer youth nonprofit. Billboards blazing love wins. Always. Accolades rolled. Features in curve. Invites to panels. But spotlight bred shadows. A rival designer. Bitter ex-collab. Leaked old dirt to shoplift. Twisted as thieving queer. Online trolls swarmed. Hashtags like Cancel Anthony trending in niche feeds. The backlash stung. Clients ghosted. Eli's teacher fielding parent complaints. Anthony spiraled. Studio dark. Sketches crumpled. "I'm poison," he muttered. Whiskey neat at noon. I snatched a glass. Bull. "You're gold." Wrapped in grit. Mom called. Voice steel. Fight like Ray did, quiet. But unyielding. Dad emailed clippings from his PFLAG meet. Stories of comebacks. We lawyered up. Defamation suit slim but symbolic. Public statement dropped. Past mistakes don't define us. Our present, building futures. Allies amplified. Lena's ink drive. Pride orgs vouching. Trolls faded. Gigs trickled back. Anthony emerged scarred but shining. A TEDx talk booked. From shadows to spotlights. Queer resilience. Holiday lights twinkled redemption. Christmas with the extended. Mom's kin thawing fully. Aunts gifting monogram blankets. Dad carved the ham. Tales of his mill days laced with shoulda stood up sooner. Boys unwrapped a puppy, scout sister. Luna, chaos joyful. New Year's. We renewed vows beachside. Boys ring bearers. Mom officiating this time. In sickness. Health. Trolls and triumphs. She intoned. Winking. Winter thawed to spring's promise. But fate's curveball flew. Anthony's cough. Insistent now. Scans word. Oncologist's face grave. Relapse. Stage 1. Caught early. Prognosis good, he assured, but chemo loomed again. I held Anthony in the consult room, his whisper fierce, not leaving you. Not this time. Family mobilized. Mom relocated part-time. RV parked curbside for grandma camp. Dad flew monthly. Boys fishing trips to the Delta. Lena's crew rallied. Meal trains. Playdates. Eli wrote letters to brave daddy. Micah's hugs silent medicine. Treatment blurred days. Nausea bouts. Hair buzzed anew. But Anthony sketched through it. Designs born of battle. Warrior motifs for cancer kids. Mid-chemo miracle. Clean pet. Remission swift. We hooped in the infusion lounge. Nurses cheering. Beach bonfire that night. Esmores. Songs. Mom's guitar strumming This Land Is Your Land. Anthony, had to ask you. Raised a sparkler. To the family that outlasts storms. Boys echoed. Lights dancing in their eyes. Years folded forward. Eli's middle school graduation. Valedictorian nod for a speech on chosen kin. Micah's art show. Abstracts echoing Anthony's style. Mom's full pardon. Church elder now. Preaching inclusion. Dad's farm co-op. Queer inclusive hires his legacy. Our 20th anniversary. Paris dreams deferred for a staycation. Napa vines. Hot air balloon at dawn. Anthony's hand in mine. Basket swaying. From Ohio rain to this. I kissed him. Wind whipped. Best plot twist. Now. Porch swing creaks under us. Boys, teens now, raiding the fridge. Scout and Luna snooze. Gray muzzled. Mom's letter arrived today. Ray be proud. You all mended what I broke. Anthony reads over my shoulder. Squeezes. We did more, built new. Condemned once. Yes. But from that fracture, a dynasty. Laughter echoing halls. Love defying odds. Not flawless. Frayed at edges. But woven tight. Threads of forgiveness. Fire forged. Ours is the story whispered in prides worldwide. Out of loss. Legions. And damn, it shines.